Welcome back to Nifty 50 Photographers. Now in today's video I'm going to show you how you can create a real cinematic style to your photos, and I'm going to give you 3 techniques to do it with. 2 of them are very quick and easy, so you could use them almost every day, perhaps if you want to create a particular style for your Instagram grid page or profile page. And the third one is a little bit more complicated because it uses some third-party software from Dehancer, which I've talked about before. If you don't know how to use Dehancer, I have done a full review of it and I'll leave a link up here for it. Full disclaimer, I'm not a Dehancer ambassador or anything. They don't pay me for making this video, and I do receive a small amount of commission if you use my promo code, which I'll let you know at the end of the video. Right, so let's get stuck in. I've chosen a photo here of Edinburgh. Actually, it's Victoria Street in Edinburgh. Any Harry Potter fans might recognise this. It was allegedly the inspiration for Diagon Alley. Right, let's start straight away in Lightroom. Okay, before we do anything, we're going to just do some very basic development on our photo, just to straighten up the angles and just get the exposures and contrast and everything right. I'm not going to do anything more clever than that, so I'm actually just going to hit auto here, and then I'm going to level it, so I'm going to hit auto to that, and that brings everything upright. Other than that, I don't really want to do anything at this stage. Now, it's really quick to create a cinematic look in Adobe Lightroom because they have about 15 presets you can use. So if you go over to the presets menu, brought up the cinematic section here, you see it's split into 2, cinematic 1 and 2, and if you hover over any of the presets, you can get an on-screen preview of what it's going to do to your photo. Let me just show you that. Anyway, you get the general idea of it. Now, the one I like most for this photo is Cinematic 4. So if I click on that, that's done all I need. The job is sorted. You can now export your file, post it on Instagram or your social media or whatever you want to do with it. Of course, you might want to do some additional development just to add your own touch to it, but that's a very quick and easy way of getting a cinematic look to your photo. Let me just show you what it looked like before and after. So there you go. So that's one way. So let's go back to our original photo now, and here it is with the basic development done. And the second way I'm going to show you is in using Photoshop. Now in Photoshop we're going to use a thing called a lookup table, or an LUT, a LUT. So to do that, we go to our photo menu, then we choose Edit in Adobe Photoshop 2023. And once your file's opened in Photoshop, you then need to go to the tab over on the right hand side here that says Adjustments. Click on that and then scroll down until you find Color Lookup. Once you find that, you then need to go to this next section where it says Load 3D LUT, and underneath you'll find all the LUTs that you want to use. And it's the same thing. Really, you need to click on it and you'll see what effect it makes. So I'll click on 2-strip look here, and one thing you want to play around with most in this is the opacity. You can see this is giving it quite a desaturated look. It's emphasized the pinks and the greens. But if I change the opacity, maybe let's take it down to about 50%, you see the look is much more subtle. So have a play with all of those and find out which one you like. For this particular photo, I like the horror blue because it gives quite a cold and it gives that edgy look to the image. But I don't want it at full opacity. I'm going to take this down to just below 50%, and so it's still got that look of what you get in a horror film, still quite a cinematic look, and that's it. That's your photo done. You literally need to just go to File and Save. It'll read it back into Lightroom. You can make any other adjustments you might like to make before you export it out to your social media again. So now let's do our third shot. We'll start with our original again. The first thing I'm going to do is level this up. Now the big difference this time, I'm using Dehancer, So I don't want to do the auto exposure. I need to do some very specific exposure adjustments that are recommended by Dehancer to get the best out of the software to make it look like a pure film look, and that's what we're aiming for. So the first thing I'm going to do is some slight adjustments to the exposure. One of the things I'm going to do is take the exposure down about 1 stop. Let me just type this in, it's a bit easier. I'm going to take the contrast to -40, and I'm going to take the blacks to +60. So I'm not going to do any sharpening, anything else like that. Now I'm going to export it into Dehancer. So I'm going to go to Photo and Edit in Dehancer. I'm going to edit a copy, and it'll now open the plugin. And then I'm going to start to do just one little thing. I'm going to change the exposure compensation so I get that looking correctly. And I'm going to boost it just a tiny little bit there. Now I'm going to look at the presets that I want to use. There's one I really like for this photo, and that's this Kodak Ektar 25. And I'm going to choose that. And this is a setup by Dehancer where they use the Kodak Ektar 25 and a Kodak Endura paper, so it's going to create that look. And I think it'll work really well with this shot. So now I can work down the right hand side and play with these sliders. So I'm going to change the temperature a little bit, and I might just cool it down a fraction. I'm going to then click the film developer, and I'm going to just play with each of the sliders till I get the look I want. A little bit of boost to the contrast, just move the black point up a little bit, give it a bit more contrast. Now I'm going to look at the print aspect of it and reduce the exposure a bit. Sorry, increase the tonal contrast a little bit and change the color density. And I'm going to take the color density down. I want it to have a slightly more washed out look. And saturation, I'm quite happy with being 100%. Then I'm going to play with what you would have done with the color head and just give it a little bit more yellow because I want it to have that slightly more yellow feel. Take the magenta slightly more towards the magenta and the cyan slightly more towards the red because I want to warm up the image. The rest of it I'm not too worried about actually. I might add some grain to make it look like a genuine old school film. So I'll push the grain size up a bit and the amount up a little bit. So this is a night shot, and on old cameras, if you took this at night, you would end up using a fast ISO film, so it would potentially be quite grainy. And you can choose the type of film you want. In my case, I want a positive. And then you get onto halation and bloom, and if you're not familiar with them, you really do need to watch that video I've done before, or look at the Dehancer website. They've got a great explanation. But in night shots like this, halation and bloom are the two things that you might find you want to play with, because it's going to affect these bright light sources that are in the image. So I'm going to turn bloom on actually and expand that, and just have a little play with these, reduce the halation effect. And as I do this, the things you need to look at are the windows, because wherever light's coming from, that's where you'll see it has an effect on those. I'm happy with those. I'm just going to play with the bloom a little bit, because to take the highlights down, details down, save the lights at 100, saturation at 100, and I'll put a little bit of a vignette on it. Just going to do a dark vignette around the outside. The rest I'm happy with. Now that I'm happy with that, click OK, and it'll read it back into Lightroom. And again, you've now got an image you can export out to your social media. So that's it. That's 3 very quick ways of creating a cinematic look or a style to your photos. If you like that video, please do give it a thumbs up. If there's anything you would like some feedback on, or any other topics you'd like covered, please let me know in the comments. And please do remember to subscribe to the channel if you want to see some more videos that give you tips and tricks on your photography. In the meantime, go out and have some fun with your camera. I'd love to see some of your cinematic style photos. By all means, tag me in your Instagram account. And if you want to follow me, there is a nifty 50s Instagram account, which you can do that. Now, I did say I would give you a promo code for Dehancer at the end. If you use the promo code Nifty50, you will get 10% off. There is a 30-day free trial, but after that, if you find you want to buy any of their plugins, you get 10% off using the promo code Nifty50. So go out, have some fun, create some great images, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.